And away we go.
The lady from North Carolina, Ms. Fox, is recognized.
Republicans were on vacation during the shutdown. It's just simply false. It's false. Many of us were in Washington, or we were in our districts meeting with constituents, advancing local priorities, and staying fully engaged with our constituents and our work. Our dedication to serving the American people didn't pause during the shutdown. Whether in D.C. or back at home, which for the record, I was in both places, and many of my Republican colleagues were too, we were doing the work we were elected to do.
No, you weren't. You weren't voting to open the government, bro. You guys did not. Nobody cares where you were. They care about your votes.
And the real story here is not about the absence. It is about the commitment. And for Republicans, we never wavered. If the Democrats cared so much about working, bro, they would not have
Benjamin, what's up, buddy?
Shut the government down. And with that, I would like to yield 4 minutes to the gentlewoman from North Carolina, the esteemed chairwoman of the House on Rules.
Gentlelady from North Carolina, Ms. Fox, is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentlewoman for yielding. Mr. Speaker, psychologists have a word for the things the Democrats accuse us of: projection.
Projection. There it is, dude. Hell yeah.
I sure hope you did not watch all 7 hours of the Democrat group therapy session last night in the Rules Committee. But if you did, you saw what a clown show it was. It was a crisp 40 degrees outside when we adjourned at around 1:30 a.m. this morning, but with the amount of hot air being spewed by Democrats in the committee room for 7 straight hours, you would have thought we were in the dead of summer. Mr. Speaker, at this point, I don't think Democrats really agree on anything. Last night and into the early hours of this morning, they showed everyone that they couldn't even agree on what they're angry about. They went off on so many tangents that it would have been a miracle.
Bro, I love her, man. I want to go grab a coffee with her sometime. I'm going to make a note of this and make a reel out of it for Instagram. Here we go.
If they arrived at a single coherent thought at any point during our meeting, the American people will see the exact same thing play out from them during this debate and during general debate on the floor later today. Apparently, the only thing Democrats can agree on is that the government needs to stay shut down, and that the American people need to suffer even more than they have already made them suffer. We heard from Democrats repeatedly about the millions of people they believe are going to be affected when their own temporary COVID credits sunset at the end of this year. Their own temporary COVID credits.
Yep.
Did we hear anything about the millions of Americans who got walloped by Democrats when they shut the government down? Did we hear an apology from Democrats to the American people for deliberately misleading them over 40 days?
Nope.
Did we hear an admission that the only reason they shut down the government is to cover up for a catastrophic policy failure that they concocted and set an end date on?
Nope, they did none of those things. Democrats did not apologize. Democrats did not do any of those things. In fact, they doubled down and played the blame game, what they do all the time, pointing fingers at everyone else but themselves.
No, we didn't hear one of those things. Not one. Mr. Speaker, I'm not surprised. This is the kind of behavior that Americans have come to expect from Democrats. Has anyone ever noticed how Democrats have developed such a visceral reaction when confronted about their abdication of responsibility? They shut the government down, and the moment you call attention to their own actions, all they do is obfuscate and start shrieking about unrelated things. Scientists should study this at length and try to come up with a cure. It's a serious affliction, as was evidenced numerous times over in our Rules Committee meeting.
Oh my God, bro, I love her.
It's well past time to reopen the government and end the Democrat-concocted nightmare that Americans have been living through for over 40 straight days. The CR before us will end that nightmare. It will get this legislative body and the entire nation moving once more. Democrats should grow a spine and accept responsibility for their own failures. I urge a yes vote on the rule, and I yield back.
Here we go.
The lady from Minnesota reserves her time remaining. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, you got to love these Republicans. The gentlelady from Minnesota says they weren't on vacation. I want to remind her, you haven't voted for 8 weeks. And most people define...
The Democrats are the ones that haven't voted, sir. Why don't you call it for what it is?
vacation is you don't have to show up to work and you get paid. That's exactly what Republicans
Because they voted and you didn't.
did. They didn't show up to work and they got paid. It was a paid vacation. I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Johnson.
The gentlelady from Texas is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I rise today in strong opposition to this bill. I'm a hell no on any legislation that strips health care away from millions of Texans. In my district, nearly 100,000 of my constituents rely on the Affordable Care Act's tax credits to pay for their coverage. Without these life-saving credits, many of them will go without health care at all. Every day during this shutdown, my office has heard from thousands of families across my district saying, for the love of God, save my health care. And tucked away in this bill is a brazen payoff, millions of taxpayer dollars funneled to the benefit of a handful of senators, while families are struggling to afford groceries and health care. We are being asked to sign off on a deal that lines the pockets of the very people who wrote it. That is an insult to every hardworking taxpayer who expects honesty from their government. The contrast could not be clearer. Republicans are operating in the currency of cruelty and corruption, while Democrats are fighting with courage and compassion. The American people deserve better, and I will never stop fighting to protect the basic necessities every family needs to survive. I yield back.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Georgia.
Gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And
Leslie, I wanted to get your thoughts on something. Joe Rogan, right? He has a huge podcast, millions of followers and listeners. And as I argue, he has a subscription to Curiosity. He's not party affiliated, but he had this warning for the left where he talked about that these celebrations, these vile celebrations over Charlie Kirk's assassination might push America to the brink. Let's watch.
Charlie Kirk gets shot and people are celebrating. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. You want people to die that you disagree with? Like, where are we right now on the scale of 1 to Civil War? Where are we? Are we at 7? Because I thought we were at 5. I thought we were like 4 or 5. But after
Yeah, I was at about a 4 or 5 myself,
Charlie Kirk,
to be
I'm like,
honest.
oh, we might be like 7. This might be like step 7 on the way to a bona fide civil war.
Leslie, is he right?
No. And as a broadcaster, I think it's irresponsible to even put that out there. You know, we're a great nation, and one of the things that makes us great is that we can live together with all of our different ethnicities and cultures and religions and political ideologies. There aren't just two. It isn't just left and right, as we can see from primaries, right? There's left of left and there's right of right. I want to say something about this. I live in California. Harris, we have kids similar age. I just did the college tours with my kids. Went to UC Berkeley. It's one of the UC schools. Walk freely on campus. There's no security.
UC Berkeley's a mess, bro. California is a mess, but UC Berkeley, they just went nuts. If you guys saw that on the news, they went bum rush TPUSA and got violent with them.
Be stopping me, you know, I'm going on campus. And the reason I say that, first, I want to say that violence, and I will repeat that, violence is wrong. Violence for any reason is wrong. 2, people in this country have a First Amendment constitutional right to free speech, but not to incite violence. I don't think I agreed with anything Charlie said, but he had the right to say it. You should never, ever, ever say anything demeaning about somebody who has been assassinated, cut down in the prime of life. And in addition to that, you just don't speak ill of the dead. That's how I was raised. You don't speak ill of the dead. You know, Turning Point has a right to have, you know, their, you know, membership and to have their meetings. But I also want to point out that University of Berkeley has 46,000 students. And on my radio show, we had a man on the ground, you know, the man on the street, go and talk to people. And it's amazing how many students didn't even know this was going on. They didn't even know. The campus is 98 acres. It's really huge. This was happening on one end of the campus. Also, if you look at all the footage, there are some older people that were there. I find it hard to believe they were students. So I just want to say I don't want the kids at UC Berkeley to all be demonized. I don't believe that everybody there was students. Again, violence is never right. It's never the answer, you know, regardless of your political ideology. And every campus should welcome other opinions. Like Liberty, let some atheists talk. UC Berkeley, let conservatives talk. I believe in that free speech, and I believe that's how we become more united and don't have a civil war.
It sounds similar to Columbia. In Columbia, they said a lot of these people weren't their students, but they were organized with the unsavory attitude.
What I was thinking
from
too,
outside.
right here in New York,
Well, they're being paid to come out and protest against TPUSA, and in this case, get violent.
And that's what I wanted to focus on with you, Kaylee. So I grew up right by the campus. I went to Cal for a semester. And regardless if it's a tiny faction, the reality is that it happened and that we saw a violent attack. And then we saw, as Harmeet Dillon discussed, the essentially constructive suppression of free speech, which is unconstitutional and also criminal when you bring in bloody attacks at will. And we're not seeing that on every campus. So the reality is that there is whatever faction has defined it is alive and well, and it is frightening.
Yeah, and we cover stories like this endlessly. There's the violence we saw at UC Berkeley. There's the social studies teacher you played that said, "Bye, Charlie, what a piece of garbage. Look what happens." I mean, what an appalling thing to say. And this person is teaching students. That's not just one isolated example. We've seen examples like this across the country, and those folks belong nowhere near educating our children. And at UC Berkeley, if we could just pull back up those images, my favorite was the media. There were some in the media trying to tell us this was mostly peaceful. Wasn't mostly peaceful. There were
We got major issues in our educational system, and that's what gets under my skin when people like to come on my show and say, well, you know, I'm a teacher, or I'm this, I'm educated, I have this degree, I have that. It's like, so you're telling me you were indoctrinated? You telling me you got scammed? You telling me you had some lunatics tell you that a free speech should be shut down? Come on now.
Fireworks, there was tear gas. You covered, is that peaceful? There was a bloodied face. No, that's not mostly peaceful. That was a real CNN moment for the media when they said mostly peaceful protests as fire raged behind the reporter. That was in a different context in the summer of 2020. This was not mostly peaceful. This was very, very wrong. And what speech were they stifling? Not that it matters, because free speech doesn't characterize what you say. Everyone deserves free speech protections as long as you're not inciting violence. But the speech that they were objecting to was that of Frank Turek, who was one of the two speakers. Frank Turek, a pastor, he was one of the last people with Charlie on that day, stood on the stage and said, the Bible talks about the fact that testing produces patience, patience produces character, tribulation leads to hope, and it says all things work together for the good of those that love God. So that's the hateful speech to which they were protesting. I have Frank Turek joining me Saturday to talk about that moment as people tried to stop him from speaking and stop the people outside there. And I just want to end with Bill Maher. I never thought that I'd be someone who quotes Bill Maher frequently, but I want to because he has been very good on these issues.
Sorry, guys. I just saw the chat. What's up, everybody? State Line Aquariums, Joshua, Beautiful Bill, Jennifer, Candy. What's up, everybody? Random apparently had some good movement. That's good to know, bro. Jennifer Tapia says, I pulled mine out and she graduated at 15. You probably did a very good thing. Now, I'm not saying, you know, people shouldn't be educated. Of course, that's not what I'm saying, but you guys know what I'm saying. We have big problems in our schools, whether it's junior high, high school, colleges for sure. I mean, we need to go in and revamp everything that we're doing. Definitely get rid of Department of Department of Education, our federal education department. We need to get rid of that, which I think it is being removed. But we also need to look at it on a state level as well. So it's not good. It's a disaster. Kids are coming out, with their brains all mushed up. So it's really weird. They're not being here's the problem. They're not being taught how to think. They're being taught what to think. That's the problem. I think they They need to concentrate on teaching these kids how to think, not what to think.
He said this. He said that Charlie Kirk was shot under a banner that said, "Prove me wrong," because he was a debater. Too many people think that the way to prove you wrong is just to eliminate you. He said that is gross. And he says, "I have no use for you if you say those things." Good for Bill Maher once again for standing up for free speech. Good for you, Leslie. And I hope we hear that broadly.
Yeah. And I don't want this to go unsaid, Leslie, which is that when you said you don't think you maybe agree with anything he said, maybe you and I can sit down and listen to things he said, and we'll find some common ground, because there was a lot of love in what Charlie said.
I definitely agree.
Look at the price of gasoline.
People that say they don't agree with anything Charlie Kirk says, it makes me feel like you haven't actually listened to Charlie Kirk.
Going from $4.50 to $2.50 or $2.70, it's going to be $2 gasoline.
People want affordable.
Well, the economy is my thing, and we have the greatest economy in history.
Are Republicans not selling it enough?
Yes, the Republicans don't talk about it.
So they need to do a better job on Capitol Hill.
The Democrats give false talk, and the Republicans, and I say it all the time, Republicans have to talk about the fact that prices are down.
Will that help? It will help communicating with the American people, but it really comes.
A lot of people saying that Trump is not talking about the economy enough. And I know he's focusing on it, doing a lot of things to, obviously mitigate inflation, and he already has. He's brought it down, and most of what he's doing is to keep it down long term. We all know that. All of us that are in it, looking at what's going on, we know that. But he needs to talk about that more, explain that more. Republicans also need to, back it up and explain that to people more. Inflation is number one. It's probably the most important thing that we need to work on. Of course, also price of goods, all those things we need to not only fix, but communicate the wins that we're having, with everyone in our country.
Down to what the American people feel. We all know this. We can scream from the top of our lungs that the price of gas and groceries has gone down. But if the American people aren't seeing more in their paycheck or feeling more stability in this, then that's where it's going to be. I think this is a real opportunity for Republicans. The American people are screaming the word affordability. President Trump can lead an affordability revolution in this country going into midterms, remove regulatory barriers, make things to build homes more affordably, make that easier to do, work with these states to be able to make sure what we're saying is this country is open for business. We want to make it more affordable. If Republicans hone in and put a package together like that, that could really change the course of what will be a tough midterm for them.
All right, what do you think? I like when President Trump talks about the economy. He wants Republicans to talk more about it, and I get that. They're part of the team. Nobody is a better spokesman than the president himself, and he's been doing
100% agree. Nobody, honestly, there's a lot of things nobody can do as good as President Trump. But he can't do everything. He can't be everywhere at the same time. But like, for example, Gavin Newsom tries to troll President Trump the way Trump trolls him or trolls everyone. You can't do it. Nobody can troll like Trump. Nobody can. Don't try. Actually, you know what? Do it, because it's fun. It's entertaining. It makes Trump do it to you even more, and we love to see it. But nobody can do it as well as he can, and nobody can obviously talk about the economy as well as President Trump can, and he should do that more. I know I'm asking a lot, but I think he should.
Doing so much this year that it's hard to keep track of things like the big, beautiful bill. Remember that? That's kind of lost in the background. We're coming into 2026. All of those tax cuts are going to start showing up in your tax returns. It's when it's going to hit your wallet, businesses taking those deductions. So I think at the end of this year into next year, laser in on the economy and talk about what's...
You guys are funny, bro. In the chat, talking to Psycho Black. You guys are right. His name literally has the word black in it. And he's wondering why we think he's from Kenya or Nigeria or Somalia.
Coming and get people excited to build and grow and earn an income and find a job. Focus is good, especially when you're heading into a midterm, in my opinion.
Especially, I think they have to compare and contrast to what the Democrats are offering.
Right.
So, for example, Obamacare was supposed to be the end-all, be-all. What are we fighting about right now? The fact that the premiums keep going up.
It's so broken that we got to keep papering over it.
Right. But then there was this, switching gears just a little bit. Jasmine Crockett, she's a congresswoman from Houston. She's a lightning rod. She gets a lot of attention, and she brings a lot of attention on herself. Here's some attention on her spending spree. So $75,000 on
which is a big number. She spent $25,000 on luxury hotels and limo services and $50,000 on security services. This is kind of an issue for them and members of Congress that they don't actually have the ability to have they have to pay for security in some way. She must feel that she.
Joshua is right, bro. Persian. He's absolutely right, bro. I'm of Persian descent. Don't be calling me Pakistani, bro. Come on now.
Yes, I won't knock the security portion of that. It is a dangerous time for elected officials. They need to make sure they're protected. However, the luxury hotels, all of those other amenities that she's giving herself, she's living high off the hog right now. And for a woman who is openly flirting with trying to run for Texas Senate seat against Senator either John Cornyn or whoever comes out of that primary, you are seeing a woman who's not spending an awful lot of time in Texas. That whole list of places she's been living high on the hog, I didn't see anything mentioning Dallas or Houston
Not been in
or
Amarillo.
Laredo or Amarillo. Right. She's all across the country making sure that she is getting taken care of, that her nails look fabulous, and that she is sounding off however she wants to. That's not good for the state.
And she's got security, too. Here she is talking about it just 12 days ago. Watch here.
We need to work on economic policies that will put people into a position in which they are not the working poor, where they are still needing the $6 a day to eat. So, yes, we need to talk about it, but I don't think that SNAP is the problem. I think that that is the resolution, or at least that is a symptom of the problem.
Well,
you know what I don't understand is why does she have LA in the background of her screen all the time? That's Los Angeles, bro. Why she's from Texas, isn't she? What is this background she keeps putting on? And by the way, what does she know about SNAP, bro? SNAP is the problem. Why are 42 million people on SNAP? Can someone help us understand this? Why 12% of our country is on SNAP?
Of
pretty much for life.
The problem.
Well, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, whether or not that's laced with hypocrisy or not.
I don't know. It's kind of salady to me. I don't know if I followed the logic there,
if she can afford it, fine. I got no argument with that, okay? But if the government shuts down, Congress should not get paid. Period.
Congress should not get paid. And if the FAA is not working, those guys should not be traveling, by the way. If they're on a plane seat in that moment and other people can't get one, it's a bad look. Look, I know Motel 6 isn't the greatest place to stay in the world, but I think for a politician who's out there talking about the working class, live a lifestyle that emulates that just a little bit. I agree, security's great, but staying at the luxury hotels.
Yeah. But I think
now,
also, but you guys, like, it's not from her salary. This is from her campaign donations. I think that it's not that she has her salary and it's whatever it is. Yeah. But it's that you're asking people who work very hard to give you money so that you can help make the case for why you should be running for Senate or something, and then you're spending it on this. And if her donors don't care, that's one thing, but it's why we have these reports so that they can make a decision.
I don't know that the donors even know. That's
why we have the report.
You got to talk about it, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a great way. I mean, a lot of campaigns get in a lot of trouble for misusing donor dollars. It's a very real thing. And so her burning money on the front end of a race on things like luxury hotels, that can continue to beat up on her the rest of the race. And it shows her campaign and herself are not trustworthy stewards of dollars.
Okay, good stuff. All right, guys. Well done. Brian, thank you. Go Vikings. Aaron, thank you.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Better place to be, right?
Wasn't that this right here that was the Griffith Observatory? Am I crazy? Am I tripping? Yeah, that's the Griffith Observatory right here. In her background, she's from Texas, bro, and every time she gets on the screen, she puts this in her background. That's the Griffith Observatory in LA. So that's where I'm in Southern California.
You know, the American farmer needs this bill to pass. The American soldier needs this bill to pass. Our air traffic controllers need this bill to pass. The men and women who protect us here in this Capitol and all federal law enforcement need this bill to pass. I'm one of those who represents a lot of federal employees, and they've been without a check for a long time, Mr. Speaker. This is very simple. Very simple.
Look at the price of
It's
gasoline.
way past time to open the government up. There are going to be a lot of excuses about coulda, shoulda, woulda, and you need to take this provision or that provision out, or they're going to vote to keep the government shut down. Well, let me tell you something. The vote today, it is straight up or straight down. You vote to open the government up today, or you vote to keep it closed. That's all there is to it. Now, as for the provision that's been mentioned a few times about the Senate language, I have introduced a piece of legislation already to repeal the Senate language, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a vote on that as soon as we get back. Mr. Speaker, I yield the remainder of my time.
Reserve.
Gentlelady from Minnesota continues to reserve her time. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, you don't love these guys. I mean, they're all introducing legislation to repeal provisions in a bill that they're going to vote yes on. I mean, you figure that out. Mr. Speaker, the previous question is the House Democrats' last attempt to make a change to this rule before it gets voted on. And I want to use this opportunity to talk about a last-minute provision that was slipped into the CR in the Senate. It's an outrageous giveaway to
What's up, boo-boo? What's up, everybody?
the pockets of 8 Republican senators. And it's one of the most corrupt things I've seen in my life. So if the House defeats the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to consider as adopted an amendment to the continuing resolution offered by Representative Subramanian which would strike the corrupt giveaway out of the text of this bill, so it does not make it into law. Mr. Speaker, this is a massive payday for Republicans. I have time to address all the BS coming from my colleagues across the chamber.
Let's go right here, dude.
But it's clear that this Republican leadership is not only failing to deliver on their promises, they're selling out at the expense of the basic needs of the American people.
You're projecting, bro. You're literally projecting your little mentality, ideology onto the Republicans. But here we go. Let's hear it from them directly. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas.
Gentleman from Texas, Mr. Roy, is recognized.
Chip Roy, baby. Chip Roy.
Thank the gentleman from Arkansas. I thank the gentlelady from Minnesota. And here we are on September 19th. House Republicans passed legislation which would have funded government through November 20th. Here we are on November 12th, and we are basically where we would have been had we just passed the bill that we passed in September. And what did we get for all of that? What happened over all these days? Well, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle were searching for a reason for voters to support them next November. They were searching for a cause. And we know this because there was intervening elections and a lot of rhetoric, but no result.
Yep.
We're here right now with Democrats having joined senators to send a bill over here to fund government through the end of January with 3 appropriations bills, which we worked through regular order, that keeps spending relatively flat, advances the priorities the American people sent us here to advance, to back up the president who is securing the border, which he was sent to Washington to do, to restore our military to focusing on defending this nation rather than advancing woke priorities, which the American people sent him here to do.
Which is what we voted for him to do, bro. That's what we voted for. That's what we asked for. That's what he said he'll do if we vote for him. And that's what he's ending. That is what he's doing. That's how our country works. Democrats are pissed because our system, our government actually worked how it's supposed to work.
To continue to work to grow and to build this economy after 4 years of being wrecked with reckless spending, but also abhorrent policies, the American people are now saying, what on earth were Democrats doing? And my Democrat colleagues' response is health care, because it's the only default position they have is the default to health care. And the fact is, it's because they broke the system so badly that they are now coming and asking us to have the Treasury print money to then give out in order to enrich insurance companies with massive subsidies. That's the actual fact.
Enriching themselves. Let's not forget, they want to enrich themselves. They will also want money going to the NGOs of which their husbands and wives are indirect beneficiaries of.
And the American people understand this. And they recognize that they don't want insurance companies to be enriched, but they want to be able to go get the doctor of their choice. The American people understand this, and so do we. And we're here to open the government, and we're here to stand up for doctors and patients instead of insurance companies and big regulators.
Thank you.
I support this legislation. I know my Republican colleagues do. The question really is, will Democrats, or will they wish to perpetuate the shutting down of government to enrich insurance companies?
I yield back. Expired. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Hey, we got two boo-boos in the chat now. What's up with that?
Well, a couple of things, Mr. Speaker. I don't think we want to be lectured.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Well, a couple of things, Mr. Speaker. I don't think we want to be lectured by somebody who, over the years, has been the king of government shutdowns and who worked for a United States senator that pushed for a government shutdown and to object to the Affordable Care Act. But by the way, I just want to make it clear to everybody: this is a Republican shutdown. They control the White House, they control the House, they control the Senate. You know, this government shut down because they don't want to negotiate. It's their way or the highway. This is a Republican shutdown. They own it. I now yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from Maryland, the distinguished ranking member of the Judiciary.
I'm going to yield a minute to Mrs. Fox,
Gentleman from
my
Maryland,
new Fox
lady
lady.
from North Carolina, Ms. Fox is recognized for Fox is
Miss
recognized
Fox.
for Fox is recognized for 4 minutes.
Yeah. Here she is, bro. Mark my words. One day I'm gonna go have a coffee with this lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank
Come on,
the
Miss
gentlewoman
Fox.
for yielding. Mr. Speaker, psychologists have a word for the things the Democrats accuse us of: projection.
Yeah, buddy.
I sure hope you did not watch all 7 hours of the Democrat group therapy session last night in the Rules Committee. But if you did, you saw what a clown show it was. It was a crisp 40 degrees outside when we adjourned at around 1:30 a.m. this morning, but with the amount of hot air being spewed by Democrats in the committee room for 7 straight hours, you would have thought we were in the dead of summer.
That's right, Chad. Make a big glass of get over it.
Mr. Speaker, at this point,
it's called projection, bro. That's what it is. They're projecting their own bullshit on us, bro. Come on
I
now.
don't think Democrats really agree on anything. Last night and into the early hours of this morning, they showed everyone that they couldn't even agree on what they're angry about.
Exactly, bro. That's where the Dems are right now. They can't even agree on what they're pissed off about. You know what as I said, bro, dude, just Hakeem Mahmoud Hussein Mohammed Jeffries needs to put on the damn sombrero and just own it, bro. You want free healthcare and bullshit for illegals.
Went off on so many tangents that it would have been a miracle if they arrived at a single coherent thought at any point during our meeting. The American people will see the exact same thing play out from them during this debate and during general debate on the floor later today. Apparently, the only thing Democrats can agree on is that the government needs to stay shut down and that the American people need to suffer even more than they have already made them suffer. We heard from Democrats repeatedly about the millions of people they believe are going to be affected when their own temporary COVID credits sunset at the end of this year. Their own temporary COVID credits. Did we hear anything about the millions of Americans who got walloped by Democrats when they shut the government down?
What's up, Ange? Dude, I love this woman. Look at her go, dude.
Did we hear?
She is also the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
Yes.
An apology from Democrats to the American people for deliberately misleading them over 40 days. Did we hear an admission that the only reason they shut down the government is to cover up for a catastrophic policy failure that they concocted and set an end date on?
Yes, baby. You're right, bro. In the chat. So call her Miss America. We need to get her a big shield, bro. Miss America. Come on, baby.
No, we didn't hear one of those things. Not one. Mr. Speaker, I'm not surprised. This is the kind of behavior that Americans have come to expect from Democrats. Has anyone ever noticed how Democrats have developed such a visceral reaction when confronted about their abdication of responsibility? They shut the government down, and the moment you call attention to their own actions, all they do is obfuscate and start shrieking about unrelated things. Scientists should study this at length and try to come up with a cure. It's a serious affliction, as was evidenced numerous times over in our Rules Committee meeting. It's well past time to reopen the government and end the Democrat-concocted nightmare that Americans have been living through for over 40 straight days. The CR before us will end that nightmare. It will get this legislative body and the entire nation moving once more. Democrats should grow a spine and accept responsibility for their own failures. I urge a yes vote on the rule, and I yield back.
Reserve.
I
lady from
love
Minnesota
it, bro.
reserves
I
her-
love it. They need to be studied. Oh, dude, this is, guys, come
Time
on.
remaining. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Aquariums, how, bro? You said that's how I get my coffee date with her? How do I get my coffee? I want to go on a coffee date with Miss Fox, bro.
Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, you got to love these Republicans. The gentlelady from Minnesota says they weren't on vacation. I want to remind her, you haven't voted for 8 weeks. And most people define vacation
Send
as
her
you
a
don't have
shield,
to show up
yes.
to work and you get paid. That's exactly.
Finished debating priorities. Democrats deliberately blocked the Senate from acting, demanding $1.5 trillion of new spending as a ransom. Finally, thank God, 8 of them put country ahead of party and voted to end this madness. Now, hearing the bitter recriminations from our leftist colleagues, it seems unlikely we'll see much bipartisanship today. But with or without them, we will reopen the government tonight and get back to addressing the challenges that confront our country. I yield back.
Oh, here we go. Here comes a Muslim.
Gentleman from Massachusetts with 11 minutes remaining on his side, 9 minutes on the majority side.
The lady's name was Fox, bro.
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised that the gentlelady brought up the UC request, but I'm glad she did because I want the record to be clear. I didn't hear any objection on the floor. The Republican chair basically ruled it as an improper UC request, and so that is why it didn't move forward. And I would.
Comments to the chair.
Here's a Muslim Palestinian friend. Here we go. Free Palestine's
one
up.
minute to the gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Jayapal.
Gentlelady from Washington is recognized for 1 minute.
Here we go. Free
Mr.
Palestine.
Speaker, I rise to oppose this bill that allows health insurance premiums for 22 million American families to skyrocket and raises health care costs for everyone. Trump and his Republican cult of followers in Congress have unleashed shameful crisis of cruelty and corruption on the American people. First, they slashed Medicaid by $1 trillion, kicked 15 million Americans off of health care, set up the playboard for rural hospitals to shutter, all so that you could give $7 trillion in permanent tax breaks to their billionaire buddies. Then they refused to negotiate with Democrats to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that 22 million Americans wouldn't have to choose between health care and rent. And when we refused to go along with that, they caused this 45-day Republican shutdown, illegally refused to pay SNAP benefits for the hungry, and illegally canceled flights, throwing the country into chaos. Trump and Republicans want to make you poorer and sicker. While Trump builds his gilded ballrooms, protects pedophiles, pardons those who buy his meme coins, and lets Americans starve. Shame on you. I'm a hell no on this bill.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Tennessee.
Gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Democrats caused a shutdown, and they, just like everything else they argue, they think as long as they say the opposite of reality, everyone will believe it. The sad thing is, their side of the aisle, their side, their people, their voters, they do believe it.
For 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to oppose the Senate's provision that allows senators to make financial gain off illegal government surveillance. 3 things can be true at once, Mr. Speaker. The first truth is this: the shutdown has to end. The American people and countless Tennesseans I represent are suffering and experiencing real pain. This record-breaking Schumer Democratic shutdown was completely avoidable, and it was completely.
Let's hear AOC,
Gentlelady
bro.
from Minnesota reserves.
Here we go,
Gentleman
AOC.
from Massachusetts.
I inquire how many more speakers the gentlelady has, because she doesn't seem to have very many.
Here we go.
I believe we have one more, Mr. Speaker.
All right, we have several. Mr. Speaker,
great.
I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez.
Gentlelady from New York is recognized.
Here's a socialist, guys. Socialist is
for
here.
1 minute.
Here we go, AOC.
It is great. It is great that Democrats have a line of people who are willing to fight for working class Americans from coast to coast in this country. Because God forbid that we have a member of the Republican caucus who stands up and actually wants to extend the Affordable Care Act so that people with cancer, insulin, and issues across all sorts of healthcare issues across this country have their health insurance protected and extended throughout 2026. It is unconscionable that what we are debating right now is legislation that will give
You guys calling her big booty Latina? I don't even think she has a big booty.
8 members of the United States Senate over $1 million apiece. And we are robbing people of their food assistance and of their health care to pay for it. How is this even on the floor? How can we, as members of Congress, Republican or Democrat, vote to enrich ourselves by stealing from the American people? That is what this legislation does. In fact, Senator Graham just went before the press earlier today saying he was going to seek well over $1 million from the American people from this. We cannot support it, and we cannot stand for it. Thank you.
Gentlelady's time has expired. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just wanted to point out to some of my colleagues that, you know, the Democrat government
Beautiful Bill says, oh, trust me, her booty is a beauty.
shut down, stopped the SNAP benefit. So if they were very concerned about those, about making sure that people had their nutritional assistance,
Oh, who's next?
they
Who's
wouldn't
next?
have shut down the
Who's
government.
next? Here we
because
go.
That is what caused it. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas.
Oh,
Gentleman is
yeah.
recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It was great to hear from the new leader of the Democrat Party, Mrs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Unfortunately, we didn't also get to hear from their other leader, Mr. Zoran Mamdani. Mr. Speaker,
Oh, the socialists, bro. I love it. The commies, dude. They're getting roasted.
gonna
Here we
be
go. Here we go. Hold on.
proud
Hold on.
this
Let me go
evening.
back. Hold on.
To reopen the federal government.
Nutritional
I love it.
assistance, they wouldn't have shut down the government because
Here we
that is
go.
what caused it.
Here
and
we
with
go.
that, Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas.
Gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It was great to hear from the new leader of the Democrat Party, Mrs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Unfortunately, we didn't also get to hear from their other leader, Mr. Zoran Mamdani. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be proud this evening to vote
Hell
to
yeah,
reopen
bro.
the federal government.
House will be in order.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, for,
yes. Get them, bro.
for 40 days, the Democrats shut our government down to pursue unrealistic policy proposals that they know the American people do not want. Mr. Speaker, the American people do not want health care for illegal aliens. They do not want.
No, sir, we do not. You're correct. Thank you very much. Someone finally speaking up for us, dude. Thank you. We voted. Trump said, if you vote for me and I get elected, I'm going to do these things. We did vote for him. He got elected. Popular vote, mind you, crushed the Electoral College. And guess what? He did all the things that he told us he was going to do. And he's currently still doing them. Thank you. This is what we voted for.
Our tax dollars funding left-wing media outlets, and they do not want to drive up our debt $1.5 trillion as part of a short-term continuing resolution. Mr. Speaker, the last 40 days have been nothing but pure political nihilism, and I'm glad that this nightmare is over so that we can get back to work on behalf of the American people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman from Massachusetts. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
They're losing
Gentleman
their
reserves
minds,
his
bro.
time. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
They're losing their minds,
Reserves.
bro.
Who seeks time?
Well, Mr. Speaker, let me first of all just say to the gentlelady, this is Republican shutdown. It didn't need to happen. All you need to do is extend the ACA tax credit so that people wouldn't get screwed.
All you Democrats had to do was vote to open the government, and you did not. Finally, after you got your brains figured out and got yourself dialed in and realized that it's a disaster for your own party, 6 of you came up, and actually 8 of you came up and finally voted to open the government. Now you look like morons.
On their health insurance bills. But I also point out to her,
Didn't change anything. They could have done this vote at the very beginning and no government shutdown would have been fine. They caused the longest government shutdown in history. And Random says, play the video I linked. Okay, I'll find your video, bro.
that the President of the United States illegally withheld SNAP benefits. And 2 federal judges, basically 2 court orders, backed us up on that. And he's the first president ever in history to actually shut off food benefits to people during a shutdown. Shame on him. I now yield 1 minute to the gentleman from California.
Here we go. Here we go.
AOC,
Random.
my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina. I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Wow, Random. There you go, bro. There you go.
For you, Mr. Connor.
Gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
Alex Stein.
Mr. Speaker, our country is at a moral crossroads. Just today, it comes out that billionaires are worth $8 trillion, more than 50% of Americans combined. And what does the president do? He decides
Yeah, the problem is you guys for 4 years let in like 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 million illegal immigrants. We don't even know the real number because they're undocumented and we don't even know who they are. That's the problem, bro. You guys are out of your minds and you destroyed our country. Here we go.
Shall be debatable for 1 hour. Fully fund SNAP benefits until September 30th of next year.
Let's go to purple hair.
It compensates our air traffic controllers right before a busy holiday season. In fact, it takes a holistic approach in ensuring federal services. And
Purple hair, purple hair.
In order.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Purple hair is up.
in order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself 7 minutes.
Gentlelady's
Bro, am I going to hit 10,000 subscribers tonight? Holy cow. Here we go.
I rise in opposition to this bill that does nothing, not one thing, to address the Republican health care crisis amid a cost of living crisis. More than 20 million Americans will have to.
Bro, sometimes I look at her and I go, is this real? Is this the real world I'm living in right now?
Pay double, even triple their monthly insurance premiums in just a matter of weeks. And
Thanks for
this bill leaves
subscribing.
families
Guys, thanks for subscribing, bro. I'm watching that number jump, dude. Thank you, thank you,
without
thank
even
you.
a glimmer of hope that their costs might go down. Energy prices are up, grocery prices are up, housing costs are up. When 2/3 of American workers are living paycheck to paycheck, you can understand why the most important issue on their mind
what is this
affordable.
What is this freak show, bro? What is going on? The Wicked Witch of the East.
Affordability. What does
Dude.
President Trump say? And I quote,
Straight out of Hunger
affordability
Games.
is a con job, end quote. How out of touch can you be?
How out of touch can we be? Have you looked in the mirror lately, bro? Are you okay?
Mr. President, start to listen to the American people, not your millionaire, billionaire friends.
Talk
President
about
Trump
projection.
and my Republican colleagues refuse to address this issue. They continue to avoid it. They were so intent on avoiding it that they shut down the government instead of dealing with it. Speaker Johnson has
God.
indicated that he will not deal with it. He has shown no interest in holding a vote on extending the health care subsidies, which would prevent monthly costs from soaring. Republicans have tried to say they will deal with this problem their own way, but they have no plan. They are trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act, as they have been trying to do unsuccessfully for 15 years.
Dude, look at the guy. Look at the liberals in the chat losing it, bro. Losing it. They're triggered, bro. You are a Trump hater and you're a beta male.
You are a Trump hater and you're a beta male.
So you're gay?
I didn't know you were gay.
I didn't know you were gay. I didn't know you were gay. How did you become gay? That's amazing.
However, they are poised to succeed, which is why it is so important.
Beta male.
Beta male.
Beta male.
Beta male.
For this continuing resolution to fail.
Wow.
President Trump and Republicans, their plan is to drive up prices for everybody, compounding the cost of living crisis. More than 2 million Americans are expected to lose their health insurance next year because it has simply become too expensive. There are more than 50 pages of health care provisions in this.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman. Satan is your daddy, woman.
This bill, not one of them stops costs from skyrocketing at the beginning of next year. Not one of them offers relief.
The guts, the audacity to tell anybody else, anyone, that they're out of touch. Dude, are you okay, lady?
To American families being squeezed tighter and tighter by the Republican crisis. There is one group of people, however, who will receive some relief thanks to this bill. United States senators who made
User is correct, bro. I don't know which one came first. User says more proof that colored hair dyes affects brain function. What came first? Was her brain function lost, then she colored her hair, or the colored hair and then the brain
have
function lost?
participated in an insurrection, snuck into this bill at the 11th hour by Senate Republicans is a
Kent Allen is a beta male.
Beta male.
Beta male.
Beta male. Beta male.
provision to pay out at least $1 million each to 8 United States senators implicated in the January 6th insurrection. Understand, this is a corrupt precedent. This is where members can profit from their own votes. It's the fleecing of the American people, which they get and understand. At the same time, this bill excludes a provision that will order a plaque to be hung that honors the police officers who put their lives on the line to defend our democracy from that same insurrection. What a contrast. It is yet another instance of this administration's shameless corruption that is financially ruining American families. While there is $230 million for the president to pay himself from the Department of Justice, $8 million for some of his closest Senate allies, $200 million for a pair of private jets for the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, $40 billion to Argentina, the American people are left with nothing but higher costs.
Dude, they're so bent out of shape, bro. It's so great to watch.
This bill also fails to fully cover the Toxic Exposure Fund, which was created to support veterans exposed to burn pits and Agent Orange. We made a promise to stand by the men and women who served our country in uniform. This bill does not live up to that promise. You know, Republicans need to stop taking photographs with veterans and then vote against their health care.
Actually, Aquariums is right. Aquarium says, Dan, hop on Discord and chat. I'd be happy to chat for a bit. By the way, if you guys are not aware, we have a Discord. It's open. You can go there. There's public lobby. You can hang out and chat with everyone. There's also public chats, public voice chats. You can go literally talk to people. If you don't want to keep typing, you can literally have a discussion. You can come on live. If you go into that same voice chat, I can bring you on live if you'd like your voice to be heard. I'll give you a platform like Charlie Kirk did.
Those who lead in the appropriations process here believe in the constitutional power of the purse. And over the past month, President Trump has been firing federal workers en masse.
Too bad he can't fire you.
When his administration has failed there, they have made life so miserable for federal workers that they had no choice but to leave. Federal workers should be, and I quote, dramatically affected.
Kent, Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman. Come on, Kent. Don't be a beta male, Kent.
Beta male.
Beta male.
Beta male.
Elected. Those are the words of the Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought, an unelected bureaucrat. The federal workforce has dwindled by 200,000 since January, jeopardizing the public services that so many people rely on. Spare.
Alessia is correct. I agree. Purple hair wig needs to retire, guys, for sure. Dad says, I wish he could fire. I know, bro. And then Bulldog is just talking nonsense, has zero brain function, just like our prior president, Otto Penn Biden.
For us, your false concern. And since January,
I have
this
Biden in here,
administration
bro.
has been stealing from our...
Here's Biden. That was Biden right there.
Our communities, withholding as much as $410 billion in funding approved by Democrats and Republicans, House, Senate, signed into law, and they are illegally blocking authorized funds from being distributed. Even now, as we debate this bill, the Trump administration is arguing to the Supreme Court that they should be allowed.
Gotta do it.
With the COVID, with dealing with.
Listen to the sounds he makes right here.
Everything we have to do with, look.
You hear that? I saved it. I got on my soundboard. Let's hear that again.
With dealing with everything we have to do with.
Listen.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
He did do it.
To withhold food stamp funding.
That sound, this is Biden. Remember this sound. When I play this, you know what it is. Now you guys know.
That Congress lawfully approved. They were ordered by 3 separate courts to distribute food assistance and are still fighting to withhold it. It is not connected to opening this government. They have the money. They have it now.
We're on to the next one. Let's go. Let's go. Here's the next one. Let's go. Come on, lady. We got it. We got it. You got TDS. Your TDS is hitting hard. You are a Trump hater.
Their only plan is to strip children of food assistance while kicking their parents off their health insurance.
Let's go. Let's go.
They have demonstrated.
You want Muslims and illegal aliens. You want Muslims and Mexicans to get free health care. That's all you want, bro. Let's go. We already know. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on now.
Congress must assert its authority over the power of the purse.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
And Kent, you as well.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Kent.
How did you become gay? So you a gay? I didn't know you were gay.
Our distinguished majority leader, the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise.
The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank my friend, the Chairman of the Appropriations, Mr. Cole from Oklahoma, for not only yielding, but for bringing this important bill to the floor. Our appropriators worked tirelessly to negotiate a multi-bill package that is part of this bill to reopen the government. And we never should have been here, Mr. Speaker. We tried as...
Oh, dang. We got 3 guys in the Discord voice chat right now. We could bring them on live, dude, if they want to talk. I don't know what they're talking about, but anybody who wants to come on live, you're welcome. Let me know. I'll put you on live.
Republicans over a month ago to prevent a government shutdown. We had a vote here on the House floor. 99% of Republicans voted to keep the government open, and 99% of Democrats voted to shut it down. And then that bill went over to the Senate, and we watched for 42 days where time and time again, Democrats, just to appease their most radical base, continued to vote in unison to shut the government down.
Yep,
and during that shutdown, we saw Millions of families experience pain, Mr. Speaker. Pain and suffering that Democrats themselves acknowledged that they imposed on the American people. But they said over and over again, we have quote after quote from Democrats during the shutdown, that they needed to impose the suffering to get leverage, Mr. Speaker, to use the American people as pawns to get leverage. For what? For what? They ultimately filed an alternative bill, a $1.5 trillion mad spending spree that included things like $200 billion of taxpayer funding for illegals.
Exactly. Hence the sombreros.
To get taxpayer benefits while they gutted the $50 billion rural health care fund that we put in place in the Working Families Tax Cut. So, Mr. Speaker, anybody who comes up here and says they care about health care, they were also advocating to gut the $50 billion rural health care fund to provide $200 billion in taxpayer-funded health care benefits for illegals.
Exactly, illegals. Those Muslims that are coming in from Somalia and Nigeria and all those places, for them. That's right, the illegals, the ones that are hanging out. What's that, the Deerport, whatever, what's that other city called over there in Minnesota? Come on
insanity.
now.
And if you really want to look at where this all began, as some on the other side,
Dearborn, that's what it is. Dearborn, Michigan, and Minnesota, and all these illegals, bro. All these sanctuary, dude, these sanctuary cities, bro.
Democrats want to talk about a healthcare crisis. The healthcare law of the land is what many refer to as Obamacare. But let's remember the original name that Democrats gave that bill when they created it. They called it the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act. Only Democrats voted for it. Republicans knew it was going to be anything but affordable. It was going to interfere with the doctor-patient relationship. And unfortunately, it's done that.
It's really supposed to be called the Anything But Affordable Care Act.
But if you want to talk about affordable, and maybe the only other bill that's more laughable in its name is the Inflation Reduction Act. Yeah, that's another product brought to you by Democrat-only votes. The Inflation Reduction Act, which ushered in the inflation under Joe Biden that we're still trying to shake today.
Literally, the Inflation Reduction Act that increased inflation to over 9% under Joe Biden, which is now at 3%, sometimes under 3%, depending on when you look at the inflation.
But the Affordable Care Act, Mr. Speaker, since it started, Americans have seen over 80% increases in their health care costs because of a Democrat-created bill.
Bro, I literally have to pick my medical insurance anytime now, and I'm scared to pull it up. I mean, I can afford it, but I just hate to look at it because it makes me so mad, bro, because what a scam.
Bill that they want to now blame on Republicans. I understand why they would want to try to now pawn that off on somebody else. But then if you look over time, during COVID, they created a temporary relief fund, not to individuals, Mr. Speaker, but to insurance companies. Democrats created a temporary, they called it temporary in the law, temporary COVID relief tax credit to insurance companies to bail out big insurance companies who are seeing record profits, and that's now what they want Republicans to renew. A insurance company bailout that Democrats created to be temporary. They set it up to expire. And now they're saying that the world's going to end if that insurance company bailout doesn't get renewed.
Exactly. See, this dude's is actually spinning facts, dude. Spitfire Jimmy knows exactly what's up. They literally set up this temporary thing in this Affordable Care Act, and they are trying to make it permanent. And everyone else is like, dude, no, that's not the whole point of it. And they're like, no, we're going to shut down government if you don't make it permanent. And that's what's happening. That's what happened.
While at the same time, when we as Republicans worked to actually lower premiums for families, They fought it every step of the way. That's right. We had a bill that we passed through this House just a few months ago in the Working Families Tax Credit. Part of that bill was called the cost share reduction, was scored by the CBO to lower premiums for families by over 12%. And what happened? It gets over, and by the way, every Democrat voted against that too, because they've never cared about lowering premiums. Then that bill gets over to the Senate. Senate Democrats worked overtime to get that provision removed. And if you go look at Senate Democrat Budget Committee website, they still brag that they removed that provision that would have lowered premiums for families. So, absolutely, Republicans have worked and will continue, by the way, to work.
Random says he put this video on Discord. Let's play it. Let's see what's up. Let's see. Where is this? Where's this video? Here
we need
go.
to do this while we have the leverage.
Of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have.
You reopen the government and we lose our leverage, there has to be an agreement right now. That's what this whole shutdown is about.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage.
The idea that you would give up all of your leverage and then hopefully get some sort of great deal coming down the pike is just a fool's errand.
Why are working families the leverage the Democrats need to get Obamacare fixed?
It's the only lever we have.
Democrats have this one little sliver right now when we've got some leverage here.
Some Republican senators have pushed a bill that would pay
straight losers,
government
bro.
workers.
I think that just gives the president more leverage.
Catherine was basically
losers following losers, but blind leading the blind, bro.
Expressing in her own words the notion that our leverage right now are our votes.
Them wanting to solve the problem that we want to solve, but do it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks when we've given up our negotiating leverage.
Without that leverage, the minority party, would be stuck in the mud and not basically have anything to negotiate.
Wow, bro. Get out of here, bro. Come on. Go kick rocks, bro. Go kick
lower
rocks.
Premiums for families, but make no mistake, the high premiums that everybody faces today are a result of the inaptly named Affordable Care Act and the many failures associated with it. But this bill today is about ending the misery Democrats created on families. That is just about funding the government, not about solving other problems that we should be working to solve, but about getting the government back open while not holding the American people hostage. And that, Mr. Speaker, is what has disgusted the American people most during this shutdown.
Dan, the guys are waiting for you in the Discord chat. You said you'll go talk to them. I think they were just going to chat with you. I guess you had some stuff you were trying to prove some people wrong, but now you can't, so you're scared. What happened, bro?
That should have never happened.
What happened, bro? Your tail between your legs?
But it's that it has caused real suffering for American families. Our men and women in uniform that had to wonder whether or not they're going to get paid. Air traffic controllers who already had a highly stressful job and then had to show up for work without getting paid. Multiple paychecks missed. Now you're seeing, because a lot of those air traffic controllers have to go work jobs as Uber drivers. They aren't even being able to show up for work because they still have bills due, their rent's due. They're trying to put food on their table, and Democrats want to vote no tonight to keep denying them food. The 42 million SNAP recipients, those people that are low income that need those food benefits, if you vote no today, you are voting to deny those 42 million low income families basic food needs.
I honestly think we need to re-look at this SNAP thing, dude. Hopefully, if there's a silver lining in this shutdown, it's the fact that we are now aware, all of America is aware of the numbers behind this whole SNAP thing, and we will look into it to figure out what the hell is going on. 12% of America should, keep saying it, should not be on SNAP. This many people should not be on SNAP for this long. It's supposed to be a crutch. You get on it, it helps you through a hard time, and you get off of it. Not to be a lifelong SNAP recipient, dude. 42 million is out of control. At some point, we got to stop it, dude. Just say no. Stop this crap, dude. It's enough. You know, stop it and make people figure this shit out. They're able, lots of these people, I'm guessing most of them are able-bodied people. They need to get off their ass and go get jobs, dude. We're enabling this behavior.
Don't talk about how much you care about low-income people and vote no tonight to deny them food, basic services, basic things that American families need who shouldn't.
Exactly. Willie B says, I've known a number of people that would sell their food stamps, bro. Dude, it's out of control.
Be part of the leverage Democrats want to show their radical base that they're fighting Donald Trump because they're upset with the results of the election from November. It is time to end this madness, Mr. Speaker. Let's get this government back open. Let's go negotiate our differences, which are many, but let's do it while not continuing to hold the American people hostage. I urge my Democrat colleagues who have voted relentlessly to shut this government down and to impose this suffering on the American people to stop. Stop imposing the suffering. Let's open the government. Let's get back to the work of the American people. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Louisiana yields back.
Solid. Yeah, Jen in the chat says selling food stamps is a black market commodity.
Reserve.
I do, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman reserves. The gentlelady from Connecticut is recognized.
I remind the majority leader that a 60-year-old couple earning $82,800 per year, annual premiums will rise by over $17,000.
Then maybe you guys should have done better than this retarded Obamacare, this crazy thing that you guys were so excited to pass. Maybe you should have done a better job. Maybe we should get rid of it completely, gut this retarded healthcare plan that we all have, that we all overpay for, and figure this out. Go private, bro. This is out of control.
A 255% increase. It now gives me great pleasure to yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Georgia, the distinguished ranking member of the Agricultural and Rural Development Subcommittee, Mr. Bishop.
The gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Ranking Member DeLauro. As ranking member of the Agriculture, Rural Development, and FDA Subcommittee, I rise to oppose this bill, though it does represent, for the most part, solid bipartisan work to.
I recognize yield 2 minutes to my very good friend, distinguished gentleman from Texas and distinguished chairman of the Military Construction and Veterans Subcommittee, the Appropriations Committee, Mr. Carter.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank my longtime friend, colleague, and the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Mr. Cole, for yielding me the time.
Purple Hair Wig is advocating for all sorts of woke nonsense, dude. If you're wondering, just think anything woke and crazy and far left, that's what she's advocating for.
I rise in support of H.R. 53.
This dude sounds like Skyler that called this morning.
71, and look forward to reopening the government. The shutdown has gone on long enough, and it's time to end it. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and it's to this point.
For Senator's bill that will force health care costs to explode for millions of Americans. In fact, this legislation guarantees only 2 things. Republican senators suspected of helping Trump try to steal an election will get a whole lot richer, and life will get more expensive for everyone else. That's because this bill adds rocket fuel to Republicans' larger assault on Americans' access to quality, affordable health care. Remember, Mr. Speaker, Republicans already slashed $1 trillion from Medicaid, $500 billion from Medicare, and let Trump steal billions in medical research. But with this bill, Republicans dump massive health care price hikes on struggling Americans. Millions will be priced out of any coverage at all, which will drive coverage costs up and health services down for all of us. It's a health budget nightmare for America's families and a slush fund lottery win for 8 Republican senators.
These are the same Democrats that want LGBTQ awareness in like places like Uganda and shit like that, bro. It's so out of control.
Because the one thing that we can all agree on, unless you're Jeffrey Epstein's best friend in the White House, is that the cost of living, lower costs.
Amendment to H.R. 5371, which will finally put an end to the Democrat-led government shutdown. Millions of Americans have suffered because they refuse to reopen the government, harming those who depend on SNAP benefits, federal workers, Border Patrol agents, and our troops who are uncertain about their next paycheck. This legislation extends government funding to the end of January 2026, thereby blocking attempts to force a budget-busting omnibus at the last minute before Christmas. It also includes the FY 2020.
Random is right. He says these are the same Democrats who were in the same seats while Obama was running the country and while Obama was passing Obamacare and putting this garbage on top of all of us and forcing us into this medical program. They're complaining about their own medical program that they created.
26 Agriculture, Rural Development, and Food and Drug Administration Appropriations Act. Republicans have effectively locked in disciplined, flat spending levels while supporting the Trump administration's policy priorities.
Exactly, Willie B.
The agriculture bill provides $26.65 billion in discretionary spending, which is level with the current amounts while also including community project funding. This bill provides critical funding support to America's farmers, ranchers, and rural communities. It ensures both USDA and FDA can safeguard our nation's food and drug supply and fully funds nutrition programs, including SNAP and WIC. Additionally, the bill closes the hemp loophole that has resulted in the spread of unregulated, intoxicating hemp-derived products that are being sold online and in gas stations and corner stores across the country. Many of these products are accessible and attractive to children, resulting in thousands of calls to U.S. poison control centers, with more than 30% involving children aged 5 years and younger. This provision is supported by 39 states' attorney general and over 81 national and state public health, medical, law enforcement, and other organizations.
Exactly, Kathy. Exactly. Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, and God, I love the compassion and the passion on the other side of the aisle. You know, we're worried about taking money out of families. Well, you know what? Y'all can do the right thing and vote yes. If not, you're the ones that are taking money from needy families, not us, because yes means yes, we want to feed the families. We want to have SNAP
Correct.
programs.
Thank you.
No means we don't fund those programs. See how simple that is? But
thanks for dumbing it down for these libtards, bro. They need the help. Thank you.
Keep on with the rhetoric. I mean, it's cute, but the American people don't buy it. So, I mean, listen, for the past 40 days, Democrats have inflicted needless pain on hardworking Americans. They stranded millions of travelers. They denied food assistance for hungry families. And how did they do that? When you vote no to continue funding, that means you deny food stamps for hungry families. No means no, you don't want to pay them. Yes, like the Republicans vote, that means yes, we do want to pay them.
Thank you for explaining it to them,
they
dude.
left our
They need the help.
wondering when they'd get their next paycheck. And for what, Mr. Speaker? To use the American people as leverage. Don't take my word for it, take theirs. Leverage for more wasteful Washington spending. Spending that no one other than the radical left ever wanted. And to remind the American people, they wanted $1.5 trillion of their hard-earned tax dollars. But what did they get in return? They got nothing. They got nothing because Republicans refused to waste the American people's money. Not a dime for the radical climate change, not a dollar for tax-funded benefits for illegals, and not
Dad bought exactly, bro. She's basically narrating politics for dummies. I love it.
one single concession to the radical far-left base. Millions of Americans whose lives were upended by the Democratic shutdown will remember this.
Yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
Thank you.
The gentlelady is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Thank you. The American people will remember who held them hostage for petty political reasons and who fought to put America first. So now that this shameful charade is over, House Republicans will continue our work on behalf of the American people. We will restore regular order to the appropriations process. We will continue to fulfill the mandate of the American people, and we will keep delivering results for American people, because that's what we're here to do for, not to play politics. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield. Thank you.
The gentlelady from Michigan yields back. The gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. Before we move on, members are advised to direct their comments.
Anthony has TDS and he's worried about Trump spending money for a ballroom. That's not taxpayer money. That's his own money and donators' money.
To the chair and not to engage in personalities. The gentlelady from Connecticut is recognized.
Milan R in the chat says, I don't know what's up with the younger generation allergic to working. I worked 3 jobs for over 15 years and have been paying my own rent since I was 14. No work ethic anymore. Absolutely, buddy. I can't agree more. These people are allergic to working. These people are getting welfare benefits. And I say it all the time on this channel, bro. We need to get rid of welfare. It's only enabling these losers to stop working, to stop being responsible for themselves. It's enabling them to sit on the couch and surf, their Instagrams and whatnot. And they're doing nothing, bro. They're trying to change the world around them so that they can continue to do nothing and get paid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have the greatest honor, really, to yield time, 2 minutes time, to the gentlewoman from California, the distinguished Speaker Emerita, Ms. Pelosi, and I might add, probably the epitome of the best speaker that this nation has ever had.
Probably the absolute worst we've ever had.
In addition to which, millions of Americans have health care coverage through the Affordable Care Act because of Speaker Pelosi.
Exactly what we all said. We have the worst medical program on the planet, and she's now applauding Pelosi for being part of that. And this is the whole thing that they're all against. Make this make sense, bro. This is insane what they're talking about, what they're doing.
Italian.
It's a huge mind fuck, bro. They're just like twisting everybody's minds up into mush, and nobody knows what to think. And that's part of their game.
American. Thank you. I yield.
And a grandmother.
And a loser. And a total loser.
Speaker, I thank the gentleman for
Look at the biggest loser in the history of our political world.
for yielding, Madam Chair, once and future Chair of the Appropriations Committee, and thank her for her leadership and her kind words. I take heed.
You guys, we talked about this the other night. You know they literally have a stock trading trap. What's up, Miss Medication? You're going to come say hi? Hi. You're going to come say hello to everyone?
Hello.
What's going on? Not much. Hey. They literally have a stock tracker that tracks this lady's stock purchases and her buys and sells. So because she makes so much money off of stocks because of her inside trading.
Need, Mr. Speaker, of your comment to address my remarks to you and not to your colleagues. So I can say to you, and perhaps you can tell them, either
Thank
they
you
don't
guys.
know
Thank you.
what
Thank
they're
you, Ange.
talking
Tomorrow.
about,
Thank you
or
guys.
they don't care about meeting the needs of the American people. Did any one of them vote? Did any one of them vote to have eliminate?
Did you vote to open the government? No, you did not. You did not. You let us go for 40 days with a shut down government, and you did not vote to open the government. Did you vote? Did you vote? Did you vote? Did you vote? No.
Need for pre-existing condition in health care? Not one of them. Did any one of them vote to say if your children get to be 26 until they're 26 years old, they have access to your
Did you vote to open the government?
policy?
Nope.
Not one of them. Did any of them vote to eliminate, bring a woman as being a pre-existing medical condition? Not one of them. The list goes on and on. Do any one of them vote for the Affordable Care Act, which, Mr. Speaker, you can tell them, was paid for? Was paid for.
What's up,
and then
surfer?
Later,
Yep.
when we decided that we could extend the
Almost going to hit 10,000 subscribers, dude. It's on.
tax credits further so more people could have more access to care. Did anyone vote for that? No. So all they have done is try to eliminate access to health care in our country. The public is catching on to them. You might tell them if a woman is born with a child that has a heart condition, She's out of luck with what they are proposing. If a father gets a stroke, forget about it. If you have a
Steve in the chat says she forgot to take her Xanax tonight. I thought she's on Adderall like Buddy Joe. Bro, Joe is done too,
sibling
bro.
with a disability, they
I have a new t-shirt and hoodie I'm going to put out with Joe on it. It's going to be so good.
don't care. And if you have your wife has breast cancer,
She doesn't even know what a woman is, bro. She's talking about women. If you ask her what is a woman, what is she going to say? She has no clue.
you've got big bills to pay because they want to take away health care, whether it's Medicaid to tens of millions of people, $500 billion from Medicare for seniors and people with disabilities, millions of dollars added to the cost for families for access to the Affordable Care Act. The list goes on and on. Either they don't know or they don't care. I'll say one more thing as a grandmother and mother. How about the President of the United States on Halloween night having a Halloween party? A Halloween party and saying to the Supreme Court, please don't make me feed the children or the poor people in our country. Going to the Supreme Court.
What up, chicken?
That means cruelty is not even comes close to the word that is needed for that kind of behavior. The worst president for children America has ever seen. I yield back.
The gentlelady from California yields back. The gentlelady from Connecticut reserves.
TDS is hitting hard.
Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend, distinguished gentleman from West Virginia and member of the Legislative Branch Subcommittee and Committee of Appropriations, Mr. Moore.
The gentleman from West Virginia is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to support the Senate amendment to H.R. 5371, which includes full funding for the legislative branch. I'm honored to serve as the vice chairman of the Legislative Branch Subcommittee, and I'm grateful to Chairman Valadao for his leadership on that committee. It has been a long road to bring this bill to the floor, a road that was made significantly longer by totally unnecessary Schumer shutdown that we've been living in. The bill before us not only reopens the entire government, but ensures that the House and its supporting agencies remain working for the American people. The bill invests in safety and security. It increases funding for the Capitol Police, provides support for security programs through the House Sergeant at Arms, and is tough on foreign adversaries, including language I wrote, preventing the purchase of technology tied to the Chinese Communist Party. I want to thank Chairman Cole for his leadership and Ranking Member Espaillat and our subcommittee members and their staff and our staff and their work. And I urge my colleagues to vote yes. I yield back.
The gentleman from West Virginia yields back. The gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. The gentlelady from Connecticut is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Ohio, the distinguished ranking member of the Energy and Water Subcommittee, Ms. Capter.
The gentlelady from Ohio is recognized.
Very good friend, distinguished member from Washington and distinguished member of the Appropriations Committee, Mr. Newhouse.
The gentleman is recognized.
Dude, I'm running through this for you guys. You guys are watching this whole thing go down. It's pretty good. Now I'm skipping over some Democrats, which are just keep repeating the same bullshit of, it's a Republican shutdown. The Republicans did it. No, they did. No, it was you.
Thank you, Mr. Cole, for yielding the time. Mr. Speaker, over 40 days after the Senate Democrats shut down the federal government, we are finally reopening. The result of the shutdown has been thousands of employee furloughs.
Thank you, boo-boo. Let's do this.
Major disruptions to our air travel, service members going without pay, delayed food assistance for low-income individuals and families, and much, much more. Mr. Speaker, as a member of the House Appropriations Committee, the responsibility of funding the federal government is one that I take very seriously, especially in light of our nation's debt surpassing $38 trillion. The performative tactics that we have watched over the last 7 weeks have truly been a disservice to Americans. And my friends across the aisle should never have put leverage or politics over those people that they represent. But the most important thing right now is that we get back to work, making sure the federal government can provide the essential services that people depend on, and that Congress can continue working to pass full-year funding legislation providing responsible federal spending and fund those essential services. Mr. Speaker, we are making significant progress with the inclusion of these 3 appropriation bills, but our work is far from over. I encourage all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this deal, vote to end this unnecessary shutdown, and help us get back to the business of hardworking Americans across this country. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields. The gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. The gentlewoman from Connecticut is recognized.
Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Minnesota, the distinguished ranking member of the Defense Subcommittee, Ms. McCollum.
The gentlewoman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, Donald Trump and Republicans control the entire government. For 42 days, Republicans shut it down. Why? Because they refuse to extend tax credits to help millions of Americans afford their health care. And if that wasn't bad enough, President Trump even withheld food assistance.
Connecticut reserves. The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to my very good friend, distinguished gentleman from Texas and chairman of the House Budget Committee, Mr. Arrington.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the Democrats rejecting a clean CR, shutting the government down, creating all of the havoc, the pain and suffering for our fellow Americans is so obviously disingenuous. They never vote against clean CRs. Never. For 4 years under Biden, you all didn't reject one clean CR. Chuck Schumer, in 44 years, never rejected a clean CR. So, Mr. Speaker.
That's why Chuck is now on his way out, bro. Chuck is at his worst approval rating in the history of Chuck Nation. He's done, dude. And so are a lot of these Democrats. They realize if they keep it going, they're going to be even more screwed. Jen says, Medi, how do you do this? There's so much going on. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. And you got these betas in the chat like Ghost Boy and all these other people, bro. These Dans. Beta bear. You know, there's really, you know, you just got to have fun with it at some point, but it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. There's a lot going on.
They say policy. They put forward a proposal, Mr. Chairman. They said it's about health care for illegals. They repeal work requirements for able-bodied adults.
Jen, dude. Thank you, Jen. Hell yeah, with a super chat. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
80/20 issue in this country. They put forward a spending bill of $1.5 trillion. That's twice the discretionary budget. Mr. Chairman, they'd be spending more money than we've ever spent outside of COVID. That's their counter proposal. It's not.
Ghost, you don't even know what you're talking about when you say rich assholes. You're saying you don't like people being successful? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not only disingenuous, it's unserious. So what's it about?
No, rich people don't hate me, bro.
It's about politics. It's about
rich people hate way less than you think. Actually, it's the opposite.
Resisting and fighting and undermining Donald Trump. But here's the deal. They're not fighting and resisting Donald Trump. They're undermining the will of the American people that gave Trump the presidency.
Yield the gentleman an additional 15 seconds.
The gentleman is recognized.
They undermine the will of the people who overwhelmingly elected President Trump and gave him the mandate of the America First agenda. So you're not resisting us. You're posturing and placating the radical left. And you are holding back what the American people wanted, and that was a new direction for this country. I yield back.
Members are reminded to please direct their comments only to the chair. The gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. The gentlewoman from Connecticut is recognized.
About this rich people, poor people thing, a lot of the problems that we have with this whole thing, with this left retardation that we get all the time is this. And I'll say also on the right, a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of the people think that there's these rich people at the top, and they're always going to stay there. And then there's these poor people at the bottom, and they always stay there. Absolutely the opposite of the truth. The people at the top and the people at the bottom are the ones that are trading places the most. And people don't understand that. One thing that you have to understand, both sides need to understand this. The people at the bottom, okay, who are the people at the bottom? Think about this. Who do you guys think are the people at the bottom of the income bracket? Who? Thank you, Joshua, for the super chat, bro. Thank you for supporting me, bro. Appreciate that. Who do you guys think are the lowest income earners in our country? Thank you, bro. Thank you, Joshua. Who do you think they are? I'm waiting. Who do you think are the people at the lowest income bracket? I'll give you a hint. Why do you think in our country, here's some facts. You guys want some facts? Here's some facts. Why do you think in our country, Japanese people make more income than Mexican people? Here's some facts for you guys. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Japanese people in America make more money than Mexican people in America? This is a hint. You guys are going to learn something here. The reason is, since you guys don't know and you guys aren't even guessing, the reason is you guys are making some good points. Work longer, harder, this, that, and yep. There's a lot of reasons, but the number one reason why Japanese people make more than Mexican people in America is because Japanese people, the average age of Japanese people is roughly 45 to 50 years old, maybe a little more. The average age of Mexicans are in the mid-20s. The reason why they make less is because they're younger, they have worked less jobs, they have less time working jobs, and as you grow up, you make more money. So that's the hint that I was giving you. The people that are in the lowest income bracket, the low income earners in our country, are people that are young. They're just turning 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And of course, these people don't make as much money as people that are 25, 30, 40, 50, 60. They don't make that much money. But when they're 16, 17, 18, guess what happens as soon as they get a little bit older? They make more money. And they make even more money as they keep getting older. And guess what? Because they're in United States and we have what's called the American dream, the people that are on the lower income levels, that are young, quickly find their way up to the highest income levels. So that's why I told you high and low income levels in our country are constantly doing this. So when morons are telling you tax the rich or there's a problem with rich or something about rich, a lot of times they're talking about themselves in the future, sometimes in the very near future, because it's always doing this thing like this. Always. The people at the bottom are coming up as they age and they grow experience and all the different things that they get and more degrees and more, all the stuff they get, they start moving up the ladder and they become the top bracket quickly. The people at the top have a lot more volatility. They move up and down a lot. And these are the realities. So when you idiots are talking about taxing the rich, or you're saying, oh, screw the rich, we hate the rich, we don't want people to be rich, there's no such thing as the rich. The rich are there for less than 10 years. Those are the actual numbers. They're actually a lot of times not even there for 5 years. Actually, I think the majority, the number is like 2 to 4 years. But there is no rich. There are some uber successful people that find their way to maybe top 1%. But those are people that you want to have money to innovate and do things because they've proven themselves to not get to be good enough to innovate, to have vision, and to not get so volatile and be have their shit go up and down. If you were to take money, think about this. If you were to take money away from Elon Musk, who would you rather have that money to do things with that money? Not the government, for sure. Government has proven they can't do shit with money. Definitely not better than the private sector. Who would you give money to if you took it from Elon Musk? Exactly. Yeah. So Boo Boo was right. Boo Boo says capitalism has brought way more people out of poverty more than ever in the history of the world. Correct, buddy. Exactly. Exactly. Who would you rather have Elon Musk's money go to? You can't think of it because it's the reason why capitalism works so well. And we're at the part of the show where we're going to have some discussions. If you guys want to call in, you can call in. I'm going to continue with some of the stuff that we have that they're doing because they just voted. They're voting even more. They're doing all kinds of votes and all this stuff. Here's Hakeem Mahmoud Mohammed Akbar Hussein Obama Jeffries. Let's see what he says. But you guys got to think about this. When you're thinking about rich and you're thinking about, we got to do this, we got to do that. Do a little homework. Think a little bit. Use your brain. Don't sit there and play hopscotch while everyone else is playing chess. Come on now.
Inadequate spending bill that fails to decisively address the Republican health care crisis and fails to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of Americans. Mr. Speaker, before I say anything further, let me say to our men and women in uniform, to our active duty troops, to our hardworking federal employees, to our civil servants, to our TSA agents, to our Capitol Police, to our staff here in the House of Representatives, to our air traffic controllers, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for the work that you do on behalf of the American people each and every day. And it's our promise to all of you that we will continue to work hard to make sure that you are treated with the dignity and respect that you deserve. In a year in which the Trump administration has gone after hard work.
Milan in the chat says the average age of people entering the workforce has been increasing over the years.
Working federal.
There are some reasons for that.
Employees.
Minimum wage is a big problem, and it's a big cause for that. It boxes out people that are 16, 17, 18 years old.
Relentlessly, including firing more than 200,000 federal employees prior to the start of the Trump Republican shutdown. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Donald Trump and Republicans made the decision to shut the government down, the longest shutdown in American history. Would rather do that.
Surfer says she'd rather have Elon's money, or he'd rather have Elon's money go to investments and be reinvested in his company's and his employees. Or, dude, so you think his employees can do better with his money than he can? And second of all, did you not think he takes his money and does more businesses and puts it back into his business? That's literally what the guy does. Do you have any idea how the guy operates, or did you even look it up?
Then provide health care that's affordable to working class Americans, middle class Americans, and hardworking American taxpayers. All across the country, I'm certain that there are people in America asking the question, where do we go from here? House Democrats have a simple answer. We will continue to fight to lower the high cost of living. House Democrats will continue to fight to address the health care crisis that Republicans have created. And House Democrats will continue.
Exactly, Gary. Gary the Snail coming through. Where you been, buddy? He says affordable health care is unaffordable. That's correct. Absolutely. If you have to use our money, taxpayer dollars, to subsidize to pay for it, it's not affordable.
To fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of Americans. This fight is not over. We're just getting started. We'll fight today. We'll fight tomorrow. We'll fight this week.
Sunshine and Champagne says, did he just say Republicans caused the healthcare crisis? Yeah, bro. They blame Republicans for their own shutdown, for their own failed healthcare system that they passed, for their own everything, bro. They blame Republicans for everything. If they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, they blame Republicans, bro.
We'll fight next week. We'll fight this month. We'll fight next month. We'll fight until we win this battle for the American people.
It's obvious Dan is stuck in this oppressor-oppressed mindset. That's all he can look at things. Bro, you need to like learn how to cope with that, bro, or do something with it. Read a little bit of Jordan Peterson or something, bro. But you're stuck. You need to look into oppressor versus oppressed mindset. It's eating you alive, and it's making you have this like really, really jacked up outlook on the world.
That's our commitment as House Democrats. And there's only two ways that this...
Jen, you're exactly right. He has become the victim of that oppressor-oppressed mindset. He is the victim in all of that. It's absolute joke. You gotta figure it out.
Fight will end. Only two ways, Mr. Speaker, that this fight will end. Either Republicans finally decide to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits this year, or the American people will throw Republicans out of their jobs next year and end the speakership of Donald J. Trump once and for all. That's how this fight ends. Mr. Speaker?
Surfer Dude says yes, his employees. So Surfer Dude wants Elon Musk to give his money to his employees that are scientists, engineers, craftsmen who make plans for factory workers, janitors, construction folk. Yep. And that's where the money gets pissed away. Exactly. Just because people are working in a company and doing specific jobs in a company does not mean they are the visionaries. They know what to do with the money. They can innovate. They can do all these things. You have it all wrong, dude. You're playing that you're so bought into this socialist Marxist mentality, and it does not produce what you think it does.
During this painful Trump Republican shutdown, what we've seen is two different philosophies in terms of how to govern.
Yeah, you're seeing sombrero and non-sombrero. You're seeing sombrero versus American patriot. And you, sir, are not wearing your sombrero. You, sir, want illegal immigrants to get free health care off of my tax dollars. That's what you want. You want people to jump over here from Somalia and come over here and go live in their Muslim neighborhoods in Dearborn, Michigan, and in Minnesota and get free medical benefits off of our tax dollars.
For the American people, the Democratic Party philosophy is clear. We are ready, willing, and able to find bipartisan common ground anytime, any place, to enact spending agreements that actually make life better for the American people. But in order to do that, we need to have partners on the other side of the aisle who are actually willing to find a bipartisan path forward.
I say it all the time, Jem. I always say, dude, he should be wearing the sombrero. You know, that would be hard, dude. That would be awesome. That's a troll. He would have. Plus, he looks better with the sombrero, bro. Trump showed us. We saw it. He looks better with the mustache and sombrero. The guy looks gray everywhere he goes, like he's from The Walking Dead.
But what we've seen from Republicans from the very beginning of this presidency is a my way or the highway approach. That's been the Republican philosophy. Jam your extremism down the throats of the American people.
That's been the Democrat mindset. You guys literally were the ones that did not vote. You guys said it's your way or the highway. And you made the government shut down for 40 days straight, the longest in history. You guys are the absolute biggest losers, morons that we've ever seen.
That's what we've seen from day one of this presidency. That's the reason why the government has been shut down by Republicans and Donald Trump for the longest period of time in American history. What have we seen from Donald Trump and Republicans during this shutdown? A consistent unwillingness to actually find common ground.
Dude, these guys are having a four-way discussion in the Discord. Should I jump in and see what they're saying?
In order to make life better for the American people. Donald Trump, during this shutdown, found the time to play golf week after week after week. Donald Trump found the time to pardon serial fraudsters like George Santos and Rudolph Giuliani. Donald Trump found the time to meet with the Chinese Communist Party. Donald Trump found the time to destroy the East Wing of the White House. Donald Trump found the time to extort 230.
Jen, the Discord is on my YouTube channel. If you go to the links on my YouTube channel, you'll see a link to the Discord. It's open. It's got an open lobby. You can go in there and chat. And we have even voice chat. These guys are doing voice chat. I'm going to jump in a second and see what they're talking about.
$30 million from the Department of Justice so he could line his pockets. Donald Trump found the time to bail out Argentina with $40 billion. Donald Trump.
It was a currency exchange, which we made money on with Argentina. These guys are the biggest liars about Argentina.
Found the time to rip away SNAP benefits from 42 million Americans. Mr. Speaker, these extremists are not like us. They're not like us. They have zero interest in fighting hard to make life better for the American people. Their philosophy, my way or the highway, our response, get lost. We're going to continue to fight hard on behalf of the American people. In the midst of a healthcare crisis and a cost of living crisis that is very...
Let's see what these guys are saying on Discord. Let me see if it's working. Hang on one sec. Yo, you guys are live.
Drunk.
You guys are live.
I go to work drinking. I works drinking. I go home from work drinking.
Oh, man. We're having the best conversation, bro. We didn't want to. We're just watching the order.
Medi put us on the fucking stream.
I did. You're on the stream, dog.
You had us on the stream?
You're on the stream right now. I just put you on now.
Okay.
No, not the whole time. Just right now,
How long
bro.
have we been on? Okay,
You're
good.
on
So
right
we
now,
didn't say
just for a
anything too
couple
crazy.
seconds. Just a couple
What are we talking
seconds.
about? Warn us, otherwise we'll get you kicked off YouTube.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there you go. Man, I just got to ask one question.
Sure, bro.
Where the fuck is his sombrero?
I know, bro. I want him to wear it so bad, bro. You know
get
what?
the fucking... Someone's got to put a fucking...
Dude, I gotta get my own sombrero so I can at least wear one.
Every time he goes and starts talking, get a fake mustache and sombrero.
Oh, dude, I already have a mustache. I need the one that curls up and does a little twirl.
Yeah.
I missed mine. I threw up in mine in Wrigleyville and left it on a doorstep.
Oh, damn, bro.
Oh, fuck. What are you going to order off Amazon?
Yeah, I gotta do. I gotta
get
do
this
it, bro.
Dude like a fucking membership to a tanning salon. He looks like a fucking gray goblin. He needs some sun.
Oh my, dude,
yeah.
he's gray, bro. He looks grim. To be honest, I feel for him. I feel like something's wrong with the guy.
I told
Anyway,
you.
I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna let you
yeah.
guys go. Good chatting with you guys. See ya. See
Okay.
you later. Guys, that was them. The boys are the boys are in the Discord hanging out, dude. They're oh, dude, that's funny. Guys, I think that's good for tonight. It's 7 p.m. in Southern California. Miss Medication is waiting for me. She wants to come and give me some more kisses, I think. Miss Medication, are you? What are you doing, woman? Are you in the kitchen where you belong? Gonna trigger all the liberals in the chat. Come on, woman, go back in the kitchen. Where are you? Come over here. Come on, Miss Medication. Guys, I think that's a good time to call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow morning. What's you gonna say hi or what?
I already said hi. Hey, everybody. I'm going to take him for tonight.
Oh my God. Okay, guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting me. We went up and to 9,754 subscribers. We're about to hit 10K, dude. We're about to do it. It's nuts. I can't believe how fast. Dude, this is 7 weeks. In 7 weeks, I went from 600 to 9,754. That's insane. That is a lot, dude. That is all organic. It's all you guys. And it's the favorite part of my day every day. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. And I love you guys. I do. I really do. I love the debates. I love discussing. I love going back and forth. Even if I don't agree and you don't agree, it's all to the good. Appreciate you guys. Thank you again. and good night. You guys too. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy everything, bro. See you guys. Love you guys. Thank you guys. Good night. Bye.